Hello and welcome to today's PeerGFS configuration video. We're going to create a real-time replication job, which is a traditional one-way copy of files from source to target. Typically, this would be used for CDP or continuous data protection. I've prepared 3 Windows servers, one for our Peer Management Center, which we'll use to create the job, and I still have 2 Windows file servers set up, one of which will be our source and the other our target. To start, open the Peer Management Center and click the New Job button. From the list of different job types, choose Replication, then Create. Give the job a unique name, then click the OK button. We need to choose the storage connection type. My source server is a Windows file server, so I'll select that, then click the Next button. Now we have to choose the source file server name, in my case, File Server 1. In the next step, we choose the source folder or volume. Click the Browse button to choose that from the tree. Then we need to select our target server, which will be File Server 2. In the next step, we specify the target location on File Server 2, and of course you can type this in if you know it, but as before you can also click the Browse button to specify the target volume or folder. Now we need to choose the file metadata that you'd like to have synchronized to the target. You'll see that when enabling ACLs, there's a warning that the service account being used by the target PeerGFS agent needs sufficient authorization to be able to set the NTFS security descriptors. The second checkbox is for the initial transfer to ensure that the security settings are replicated from the source. You'll also need to choose the source file server as the master host. You can also replicate the owner and SACL information, but for this job I'll only choose the DACLs. In the last step, we can configure email alerts, but there'll be another video that'll cover that in more depth specifically. Before we start the job, let's take a look at some of the additional configuration that you can do if you click Edit Job. In general, you can change the first scan mode from folder by folder to bulk checksum, and this will speed up the initial scan if most of the data has already been copied across to the target previously. In the file filters, you can specify traditional include/exclude lists using standard wildcards, for example, to exclude certain file types or subfolders from being copied to the target. You can also choose to include files that don't have a file extension. Target protection is a useful feature. If a file is deleted from the source, of course it would also be deleted from the target, but with target protection enabled, a deleted or overwritten file would be moved to a hidden folder called PC Trash Bin, so that you can then recover it easily if you need to. You can choose how long to keep such files for, and also how many versions of each file. So the job is configured, but before we start it, let's take a look at the source and target folders. We want our job to replicate all of the files from the development folder on File Server 1 to the backup folder on File Server 2. Back in the Peer Management Center, start the job by right-clicking it and selecting Start. At the bottom left, you can see that we do a few check and configuration steps, after which the job starts running and replicating the data. On the top right, you can have the display auto update every few seconds, and already the synchronization is completed. It's just a small demo lab, so it only took a couple of seconds. So now if we bring up our source and target folders in File Explorer, we can see that the files were all successfully replicated from source to target. Let's test the real-time replication by creating a new file on the source so that we can see it replicated to the target as well. And yes, it was replicated across 2 successfully. In the event log, you can see a list of all the changes to really see what happened in detail. You can see that I created the text.txt file, renamed it, and that it was transferred from file server 1 to file server 2. So I hope this video's been interesting for you, and I'll look forward to seeing you again in the next one.